also, if you think about it
Excuse me.
in sales, particularly in B2B, there's a lot riding on the buyer's shoulders, right? I mean, when they're making a decision to purchase something on behalf of their company, there's a lot of stress and pressure on them to make the right decision, spend the money wisely. So by engaging with them in this way and telling stories, success stories, but telling them in a good way, can have a comforting effect on them. But let me ask you this. The storytelling, is this across all the Bs? Is this a B2C or a B2B? Can you use it? Does it work better in one than the other? Is it applicable to both?
I really wish you had not asked me that question, because I I get on a soapbox when people ask this question. It's a very common question, by the way. So, um, so the first thing, you're quite right. In the B2B process, especially in enterprise sales, right, where the process is so long, there's so many stakeholders involved, you are not going to move from one stage to the other just on the basis of, the facts that you're trying to push down. It's not going to happen, for a fact. But I can tell you this, it's not just the B2B, although most people tend to think that B2C is where the game is at in storytelling. I definitely think B2C it's an easier connect on where you would use stories. But I find it works beautifully in B2B as well. And the reason for that is that storytelling at the end of the day is H to H. So it's human to human. So as long as you're talking to a human being, it doesn't matter whether you're doing a B2B or a B2C. Sometimes we use frameworks that have been created for a different context, and we try and pull into other scenarios. I'm not sure whether the concept of storytelling is confined by the B2B or B2C framework. All that you have to be mindful of, that in a B2B cycle, because there are a larger number of stakeholders, the type of stories that you might end up telling and the variation that you might need to bring in may be a little bit more nuanced than if you were doing a B2C, where you were maybe going with one particular concise consumer persona that you're speaking to. The landscape is much more varied in a B2B. But does storytelling work? Absolutely. It works in both the contexts.